Hey YouTube, Peterbilt Knife Guy, and today we've got another Eafengrow. Not a big knife, but not a bad job. That's right, I received another Eafengrow product, and first off, it comes in the same box as the last one did, and there's your model number and whatnot. It is made in China. This is the Eafengrow 134, EF134. Freaking look at that thing. That already looks sexy. So yeah, when you get it, it comes with no paperwork, just like the last one. It comes in bubble wrap, plain box. Do we care about boxes here on Peterbilt Knife Guy? No, we don't. I appreciate it when a company spends that money on the knife, the cost of the knife, on the knife and not the packaging. So that's cool. Just like our last sheath, the other Eafengrow, the EF135, this is the Eafengrow EF134, and it came with a Chinese tech lock. They are very functional, I've actually found. They work great. I mean, it's a freaking tech lock, you know. The design itself is a fantastic design. You can carry it vertically, horizontally, scout carry, however you want to carry it. The sheath, another well done Eafengrow sheath. Listen to this. Nothing. Oh, there's a little bit on this one. Dang it. But honestly, it's pretty freaking tight. Oh, so this one has a little bit more wobble than the last one, but it's still not bad. It's still a very well done sheath. The last one was just tighter than a ship's hull, but this one it's got a little bit of rattle, but that's not too bad. Let's take a look at this knife. Look at that freaking thing. That design right there speaks to me. If this design was made, but just like a 10-inch freaking blade on there, you know, that'd be bad. We have a 5 1/4 inch blade from the handle. Overall, we were right around about 10.5 inches. So it's a decent size. Just like the last one, it's 0.24 thick, so just right under a 1/4 inch thick. So this thing is a freaking moose. Let's look at that tip real quick. That's a pretty robust tip. On a knife that looks slicey as all heck, that's a pretty robust tip. Their grind lines on the two knives that I've seen so far are just fantastic. I mean, symmetrical, equally spaced. They do a good job when they're manufacturing these things. So what we have here is G10 scales, and they're kind of multi-layered, and it's a really cool color. I'm really digging it, actually. This one does have a little gap in the scale. You know, for the price of the knife, it is $59.99 on Amazon. You're getting a freaking lot of knife for $60 basically. It has a sharpening choil. The last one had a finger choil, but this is a sharpening choil. If you have tiny fingers, you could probably get it in there comfortably, but as you can see, I would be risking cutting my finger. You could probably knock it in there just like that, but it's not super comfortable, so I'm just gonna call that sharpening choil. I really don't think that's a finger choil. It has jimping. This is not as good as grippy as the EF135 though. It's functional, but the way they did the jimping on the EF135 was just so nice. This one, it doesn't hurt, but it does let you slip a little bit. But then again, that's not an issue, because if you're just pushing on this, I do not foresee, unless you stick your finger in there, which I wouldn't recommend, really get up in there doing close stuff. There is no jimping up front, so you know, it is what it is. But this knife is not a bushcraft knife. This is kind of like I would say like a tactical knife. This is something that maybe the military could use, law enforcement, hunting. I could see this in a hunting role. It is kind of thick, it is kind of chunky, and that is kind of the reason why I like Eafengrow knives. I am a big fan of thick, chunky knives. But let's take a look at the EF135 just for comparison. So this is the EF135. and this is the EF134. Now, overall length, they're pretty close. They're within, you know, 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch. But the main difference that I've noticed on these two is the handle size. The handle on this guy was just a little too tight for me. The handle on this one is even worse for me. It is just slightly smaller. So just where your inner grip, where your hand's gonna grab, you know, there's just a little bit less room. And you know, that's a me problem. That's not a everybody problem. I have excessively large hands, so it doesn't frickin' help me none. But most people will be able to grip on this. If you have just average large hands, you're probably not gonna have a problem. Now, when I squeeze in there, you know, it's not uncomfortable. So it is a well-crafted handle comfort-wise, and I imagine if you had like medium or large hands, this thing would fit fantastically. It does have this little hook in the back, and the weight of this knife will lend it the chopping, and we're gonna test that out here in a minute. But yeah, it has DC 53 steel. This is only my second knife in DC 53. This other one was from Eafengrow, but from my chopping with this guy, it held up great. So I'm kind of digging DC 53 steel right now, because it's kind of budget steel, but it's a good budget steel. Kind of like D2, a little bit tougher from what I've heard. It has like a stone washed finish. I do not know what this finish is called. I really should have looked, but pretty cool. I want to chop something with this. Let's chop something with this. So first off, just like the last knife, the factory edge is superb. It is a fantastic factory edge. I wish other companies would do this. Trying to hold the camera so it's not really working good, but it's very damn sharp. So we got a 2x4 here. It's one of these hollowed out deals, but just for chopping sake, there's even a knot. If I can even get it in camera, there's a knot right there. Let's just see how it holds up. See how well it chops. Bring it down a little bit. Check it out. Let's try chop this knot. Safety glasses. So I'm gonna hold it in a 3-finger grip. That's not bad penetration for such a small knife. I am noticing with this one though, it does want to slip out of my hand a little bit more than the last one. A lanyard would fix that. I'm not going to put one on for this, but let's it wants to slide from a 3-finger grip to a 2-finger grip, and then it really wants to go. Not out of my hand, but it wants to chop. You know, for such a small knife, it's not doing too bad. Try it like this for a second. Whew, it did it. Not a big knife, but not a bad job. All right, so what I did find out about it is, if you're gonna do any kind of chopping with this thing, which is not a chopper, but if you were to chop, because you can see it chops, you'd probably want to throw a lanyard on here. That would make your life a lot easier. There was no hot spots, but I did find it wanting to slip. It's a very, I hate to say slippery, because it's not slippery, but the weight of this knife just wants to pull it to where my middle finger is in that hook, and then I can grab it really well. But that is, it's a little tiring on your hand. So putting a lanyard on there, no problem at all. Let's check the edge retention after this. So as you can see, there's the edge. There's no chips, no glinting. That's just dirty on the blade. And let's see what it does. Yeah, it's still there. That's just me. Yeah, that's right there. Let's see if we can do this. Yeah, it's still there. Still pretty sharp. No nicks on this blade from chopping into that knot. DC53 steel seems to handle it pretty well. Being the fact that it's almost a 1/4 inch lends this little knife to chop. Yeah, I just wish it had a bigger handle. I wish it had a bigger handle, and honestly, that's all this knife really needs. But that's just for me. So if you have smaller hands, this thing's gonna be a rock star for you. But for me, it was just a little bit too small and a little bit too slippery. But other than that, to use it as a knife, it's awesome. I'm really digging the look of this one over this one. Now, don't get me wrong, I like this one. This one's a chopper too. But this just has a sleekness to it that I enjoy. I like this really long swedge, you know, right here. It's still, look how thick that is, even with the swedge. That's freaking crazy. Back here is almost a 1/4 inch, but it thins it out, but it's still freaking thick. Pretty awesome. But anyways, I'm gonna include the link to this knife. It's an Amazon link in the description. If you're interested, I would check it out, honestly. I wish I knew about Eafengrow sooner. These are beastly little knives. If you were looking to like SE6 or something, or not SE6, an SE5, check out Eafengrow, because these things are both tanks, and for the price, you just can't go wrong. But anyways, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching.